I'll just.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Joan, take us away.
All right, good afternoon. It's April 12th, 2024. This is the 13th meeting of the Baltimore County Administrative Charging Committee. It is 1 o'clock, and first thing we'll do is roll call, starting with me, Joan Harris.
Dawn Deshawn Fewer.
Christopher Sealing.
Sharon, you might be on mute. Is Sharon there?
I'm here.
Okay,
There you
gotcha. All right.
I just
Uh,
had to
first
be
order-
unmuted.
Okay, great. First order of business is to review and approve the minutes from the April 5 meeting.
And Madam Chair, those were not circulated, but I have them here. So if you don't mind, I can share my screen and then we can review through them
Let's do that.
the old fashioned way. So let me share my screen here. Okay. And here we go. We have the meeting 13 on April 5th, 2024, which is at 12 p.m. in room 118 of the Baltimore County Historic Courthouse and via WebEx. Call to order, roll call. The meeting was called to order at 12:01 p.m. Madam Chair, Ms. Neck, Ms. Justice, and Ms. Deshawn Fewer were all present. Myself and Ms. LaValle were present in the administrative office. The first order of business was the approval of the March 8th meeting minutes by Ms. Deshawn Fewer. Ms. Justice seconded the motion, and it was approved unanimously to adopt the minutes. I provided legislative updates, and then at 12:06 p.m., Ms. Deshawn Fewer moved the Administrative Charging Committee meeting closed session. Ms. Justice seconded the motion, and it was approved unanimously. During closed session, members of the committee reviewed investigatory files and made determinations as to whether to administratively charge and recommend discipline towards law enforcement officers, as well as producing written opinions on these matters. At 4:53 p.m., Ms. Deshawn Fewer moved that the ACC return to open session. Ms. Justice seconded the motion. The motion to resume open session was approved unanimously. And at the same time, the board re-entered open session. At 4:54 p.m., Ms. Deshawn Fewer moved to add today's meeting, April 12th, at 1 p.m. via WebEx as a continuation of the April 5th meeting. Ms. Justice seconded the motion. And then Ms. Deshawn Fewer moved to adjourn the ACC until today at 1 p.m. Ms. Justice seconded the motion. The motion was approved unanimously, and those are the entirety of the minutes, unless anybody would like to make any changes or edits to them.
Okay, if no changes or edits, may I please have a motion to adopt the minutes?
Yes. Motion to adopt the minutes, be it so moved that the Baltimore County Administrative Charging Committee hereby adopts the April 5th, 2024 meeting minutes as presented.
A second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And they are so approved. The next order of business will be new business. I understand. Do we have any legislative updates, Henry?
We do. So the legislative session for the Maryland General Assembly ended on the 9th, I believe, at midnight. And unfortunately, regardless of whatever my opinion is on the matters, none of the legislation that impacted the Administrative Charging Committee or Police Accountability Board passed both chambers. Legislative Bill SB 0608, which would have extended the tolling or told the statute of limitations for cases where the criminal investigation of the officer passed both chambers. Well, the Senate version passed the Senate. The House version that was identical passed the House. Neither version, however, reached the floor. And so that legislation does not take effect, nor did the summary punishment legislation for officers. That wouldn't have impacted our work, but nonetheless, that legislation did not pass either. So there are no changes to the law as passed from where it was passed in 2021. So the work for this committee will remain unchanged. And next year, there may be a renewed effort to pass some of these changes to extend the tolling or to toll the statute for these criminal cases. But it was, an example of where just simply there was not sufficient time for the bills to reach the floor and receive a vote and crossover, so to speak. So that is all I've got until we have legislative updates in January of next year.
Okay, thank you so much, Henry. Donnie, do we have any PAB updates?
Don, you're muted.
No, we haven't met since we met last Friday.
Okay. All right, and so at this point, I guess we will be going into closed session in order to conduct our business. May I please have a motion to move into closed session?
Yes, motion to enter closed session. Be it so moved that the Baltimore County Administrative Charging Committee hereby meets in closed sessions to review investigatory files in compliance with Section 3-3-2806 of the Baltimore County Code and COMAR 12.04.09.05 D1.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, and we are in closed session.
All right. So now
Oh, hello, I'm on mute. So we are back in open session. I want to move the October ACC meeting from October the 4 to the following Friday, October 11, 2024 at noon. I'm going to move to schedule that meeting for October 11. May I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It is so moved. And any other business?
yes, Madam Chair, there were several questions that came up during in review of the confidential files, and just wanted to request that I pass on this information to Officer or Major Gorman. Let me pull up my full list here that I typed out. Apologies for the delay here. There were requests for additional information on the process for obtaining disciplinary files, aggravating mitigating factors, more discussion on the distinction between minor versus major car crashes, requests that the reports passed on to the ACC provide clarity on the date the complaint was filed, the date of the incident, the date of the 911 calls. Additionally, what information the ACC is entitled to regarding cases that are where the officer requests a trial board and the outcome of said trial boards. A discussion of the crash recreation team's determinations as to what constitutes fault or preventable, and what circumstances in general, what is the department policy or discussion of the department policies regarding officer identification to members of the public. With your permission, Madam Chair, members of the committee, I'll pass that information on or those requests on to Major Gorman for a discussion at a future meeting in an open session.
Yes, that sounds like the list that we had discussed. And if anyone has anything else to add to it before that time, we can do so before the meeting. We just want to give Major Gorman an opportunity to know what we want ahead of time. And right now, he's going to look to see if he can clear his schedule for our May meeting. So maybe it'll happen that soon. All right, anybody else have any other business? May I have a move to adjourn this meeting, please?
Yes, be it so moved that the Baltimore County Administrative Charging Committee hereby adjourns until May 3rd, 2024 at 12 p.m., at which time it shall meet in room 118 of the Baltimore County Historic Courthouse and by WebEx.
All right, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And we are so adjourned. Thank you.
Have a good weekend.
Okay.